green hair low. We were no older than the dragonflies, and just as hard to know. The current carried bottle caps, the sky was rinsed and wide, and all the afternoon lay warm along the shining tide. He skipped a stone, it kissed the light, and vanished without blame, while I sat tracing circles in the mud beside your name. A rowboat tipped against the reeds, a dog barked from the mill, and every leaf that touched the bank made all the world stand still. Willow summer, don't go by, don't take your blue from out the sky, don't teach the grass to fade and dry before I've learned your ways. Willow summer, green and slow, with cotton on the breezes low, stay where the laughing waters flow through these uncounted days. We ate our peaches on the dock and dropped the pits below. We let our shoes fill up with sand, too golden not to show. The church bells from the town beyond came softened by the heat, as if the day wore velvet gloves on each approaching beat. You carved your initials on a rail already scarred with years, a little mark to tell the wood that we had once been here. I wonder if it lingers still beneath the weathered grain, a shy and stubborn memory of sunlight after rain. Willow summer, do you keep the promises we could not speak, the treasures children bury deep where grown-up eyes don't see? Willow summer, light and long, with bees between the clover's song, you made the plain world somehow strong enough to shelter me. Then school books came and hymns dropped down and voices changed their key. The county fair seemed less a star than what might someday be. The rowboat rotted by the shore, the dock boards lost their shine, and we grew polished at the edges by a stricter sort of time. Yet once a year when heat returns and willow branches sway, I feel that river in my pulse, though miles have worn away. And somewhere in the greenest part my younger self still lies, elbows in the meadow grass, the whole sky in her eyes. Willow summer, don't go by, though every season learns to fly. There's one bright bank that will not dry inside my secret heart. Willow summer, soft and true, no later world can darken you, for I was something fine in you before the years could start. stood beside the garden gate with twilight in your eyes, a sentence trembling on your lips, too careful to disguise. The roses leaned as if to hear what neither dared to say, while all the evening held its breath and would not drift away. I knew the shape of what you meant before it found its sound, a fragile truth that wandered long before it settled down. The gravel path, the lilac air, the hush of growing night, all seem to say that broken things may yet be set to right. Gentle pardon, soft and slow, like petals in the afterglow. You fall where only hearts can know the weight you take away. Gentle pardon, pale and kind, you mend what pride has left behind, and leave a quieter, truer mind to greet another day. No grand apologies were made, no speeches filled the air, just one small look that lingered long enough to show you cared. And in that space of almost words, where hurt and hope can meet, I felt the past unlace itself and loosen at my feet. The night grew deep, the stars came out like witnesses above, but all the universe seemed small beside that act of love. A softened tone, a yielded breath, a hand that did not stray, and suddenly the tangled thread had gently come away. Gentle pardon, quiet grace, you touch the most unlikely place, and leave no sign but a calmer face and something understood. Gentle pardon, clear and light, you turn the wrong to something right, and make the heaviest of nights seem almost gentle good. We walked a little down the lane where shadows fell into, and though no promise had been sworn, I trusted something true. For not all healing wears a crown or calls the world to see. Some comes in silence, hand in hand, and sets the spirit free. So let the past lie where it will, untroubled and at rest, for what was amended here tonight has quietly done its best. And if tomorrow brings again a test we cannot name, I'll carry this soft miracle and meet it just the same. Gentle pardon, stay with me, a tender hidden dignity, a proof of what the heart gentle pardon, ever true. There's something everlasting in you, a simple grace that carries through and makes the world enough. The station wore a silver coat of midnight and of steam. The benches held the quiet close, like a half-remembered dream. A paper cup, a tired lamp, a whistle in the air, and all the things I meant to say were trembling somewhere there. You stood beside the window glass with your ticket in your hand. A little smile, a little ache, a world I didn't understand. The porter called, the wheels replied, the platform lost its grace. And all at once the night grew large around your leaving face. Last train blue, don't take him far, don't fold him in your restless dark. Leave me one small shining mark to keep against the dawn. Last train blue, go soft and slow, he's all the light my evenings know. And when the sleeping signals glow, tell him I stayed on. The clock above the station door kept count like it was kind, but every minute brushed a tear across the edge of time. A lady with a feather hat looked past me and then through, as if the whole wide world had seen what lonely girls must do. I waved before the train had moved, I waved before you saw. I waved because a breaking heart still bows to proper law. And when at last your window slipped beyond the final post, I watched my shadow on the track and felt it fade like smoke. Last train blue, don't take him far, don't hide him past the freight yard star. I've never been so still, so far from all I thought was true. Last train blue, don't sing so low, the town will sleep, the pines will bow, but I will hear your iron sorrow all the whole night through. Tomorrow there'll be bakery bread, the milkman at the gate, the barber sweeping bits of hair, the school bell ringing 8. The world is very skilled at being what it has always been, but I will know the difference where your footsteps should have been. Perhaps you'll find a brighter street, a grander room, a name, a golden city window lit by some more certain flame. And I will keep this country dusk, this platform pale and true, and all the little moth-wing hopes that rode away with you. last train blue. When spring is near and rivers soften year by year, bring back the voice I used to hear between the tracks and sky. Last train blue, I won't complain. I'll pin my ribbon through the rain and stand where longing learned my name. The night you said goodbye. Left in little waves and settled in the hall. A teacup ring, a folded napkin, shadows on the wall. The piano kept one golden note inside its polished frame, as if the room was not yet ready to forget your name. The roses in the crystal bowl leaned tired toward the light. The candles wore a lace of smoke and bowed themselves good night. I gathered up the silver spoons, the ribbons and the lace, but everywhere my careful hands found some remaining trace. After the guests, after the glow, after the last coat, after hello turned into footsteps soft and slow, I stayed behind whispering. After the talk, after the tune, after the bright balloons of June, there in the hush beneath the moon, your memory touched everything. A chair was angled from the crowd, the way you left it there, and I could almost hear your sleeve disturb the settled air. The glass still held the print of lips not mine, and yet I knew how foolish hearts can envy even things that once touched you. The mantel clock was brave enough to keep its measured art, while every chime went drifting down the staircase of my heart. Outside, the hedges kept their shape, the gravel drive lay still, but inwardly the whole dear house had tipped against my will. After the guests, after the glow, after the violin bowed low, I walked the rooms you used to know and could not make them small. After the smiles, after the rain tapped at the darkened window pane, silence arranged itself again like ivy on the wall. I brushed the crumbs into my palm, folded the cloth away, and with each ordinary thing I felt the evening stay. A woman learns that tenderness can hide in what remains, a twisted stem, a half-warm lamp, the hush between refrains. Perhaps it was not much at all, a dance, a look, a word, but I have seen whole summer's turn from less than what I heard. So let the dishes dry by dawn, let all the candles sleep. There are some bright and borrowed hours a heart is meant to keep. After the guests, after the glow, and only moths and moonlight know the little ache that lingers so. Where joy has just gone by, I'll close the drapes, I'll turn the key, but one soft corner here in me will keep the room exactly as it was when you said goodbye. Across the street on evenings when the curtains are not drawn, I see a woman setting out 3 plates instead of 1. A child runs past, a narrow blur, a man hangs up his hat, and in the golden kitchen light I stare too long at that. The lamp beside my radio is faithful, small and fair. My book stands straight, my teacup cools, my comb lies by the chair. No tragedy inhabits here, no ruin, no disgrace. And yet sometimes I feel a knock from some unchosen place. Another door, another stair, another room of living there, another life arranged somewhere I almost might have known. Another door, another key, another borrowed version of me, smiling through a mystery that never became my own. Perhaps in that imagined house I wear my apron clean and hum while peeling yellow pears in a magazine-like scene. Perhaps I keep a stricter clock, or laugh a different way, or know by heart the 1,000 arts that hold a home in place. But then I touch my window latch, I hear the city start, a taxi far, a siren low, the pulse of my own heart. And I remember all the roads a woman walks alone, the private kingdom she can build without a chaperone. Another door, another stair may glow and shine from over there, but moonlight has its portion here upon my table too. Another door, another flame may answer to another name, yet longing is not always shame, it's just the soul in view. I have known afternoons of books, of rain against the pane, of sudden plans and train tickets, of freedom with a strain. I have worn silence like a glove and found it fit me well, though now and then an unseen bell rings from a parallel. So let that household keep its song, its spoons, its nursery rhyme, its soft domestic weather set to some enduring time. I will not stand here all my life, pressed to a borrowed scene, but I may honor what another prayer floating through yellow light, another door, and still I stay, not empty, only made this way. A little wistful, yes, but gray can also shimmer bright. I touch the puff box to my cheek and watch the mirror clear. A little cloud of rose and calm to hide a little fear. The band downstairs was tuning up in satin, smoke and brass, and every staircase step I took felt thinner than the last. The ballroom wore its amber lights like jewels around the room. The polished floor gave back the stars in every slow perfume. Women in their fitted gloves and men in dinner black all moved as if the world had never lost a single track. Powder and poise, chin lifted high, smile for the room, not for goodbye. Let no one see the tender sky behind your practiced eyes. Powder and poise, easy and light, dance till the ache learns how to write its name in grace. Not only night, it's sorrow in surprise. He passed me once beside the palms and spoke another name. A pretty girl in ivory satin turned when softly came. I thought my knees might tell on me, my breath might lose its art, but all those violins conspired to keep a girl apart. So when a stranger bowed and asked if I would care to dance, I placed my hand inside his own and gave the evening chance. Not for love and not for spite, not even to forget, but just to prove a wounded thing can still be lovely yet. Powder and poise, shoulder to song. Nobody knows what went so wrong. Nobody knows how long a quiet bruise can stay. Powder and poise, turn with the beat. Trust your shoes and trust your feet. There are victories discreet as dawn before the day. The saxophone went satin blue, the drummer brushed the air, and I became the girl I'd seen in windows everywhere. Composed enough to cross a room, soft enough to feel, strong enough to let the music teach the heart to heal. The evening did not mend me whole, no miracle occurred. He did not run back through the crowd undone by one small word, but I returned with something more than what I'd worn above. A little dignity restored, a little faith in love. Powder and poise keep me a while in the discipline of a smile, in every gracious measured style. The lonely learn by heart. Powder and poise its edges all made mild, as though the night had leaned and placed a blessing on each tile. The steeple wore a powdered crown, the fences disappeared, and every usual hardline thing turned tenderly endeared. No traffic hurried down the square, no hammer shook the day. The bakery smoke rose straight and pale, and then was brushed away. The sled turned red against the hill, then vanished through the gleam, and all the world behaved as if it must not break the dream. Snow on Sunday, soft and slow, you make the plainest rooftops glow. You teach the busy town to know a gentler sort of grace. Snow on Sunday, clean and deep, you lay your hand on haste and sleep, and leave a hush for souls to keep long after you erase. The church bells sounded thick with wool, the choir thinner far, as if the notes came drifting down from some upholstered star. My gloves were lined with winter rose, my breath a little cloud, and even children at their games seemed reverent and proud. Old Mr. Dean, who sweeps his stoop with fierce and daily will, stood smiling at the heightened world and did not lift a shovel. Mrs. Wells, who talks of prices as though they were a war, paused just to say how lovely, and asked no question more. Snow on Sunday, silver peace, how quietly the fretting cease, how all the inward clamors lease their rooms to something kind. Snow on Sunday, pale and bright, you make the poorest window light, you make the burdened spirit light, at least for one small time. By dusk the sidewalks bore the marks of shoes and sleigh and wheel. The spell was not unbroken, only folded into real. For beauty does not stay untouched to prove that it was true. It only needs one shining hour to alter what we knew. And so I watched from my front steps the dark come lavender, and felt the daylight cool linen still resting after prayer. The week will start, the thaw will come, the gutters run again, but something white and wordless now has settled deep within. Snow on Sunday, drift and shine, remain a little while in mind, where all your softened church bells chime, and all your rooftops gleam. Snow on Sunday, when I tire, return in memory's quiet the common world aspire to look the way you see. There's a harbor past the dunes where evening folds its wings, and all the boats rock slow enough to hear the silence sing. The ropes complain in weathered notes, the gulls grow faint and spare, and one green lamp above the pier keeps shining through the air. I used to think a heart must chase each bright and passing sail, must leave its little weather vane and race the open gale. But tides have taught me other things the inland girls don't know. Not every faithful light is small because it does not go. Harbor light, home steady and near, burn through the fog, burn through the year. Some of us learn the world from here and still are not confined. Harbor light, home clear and low, you watch the bold departures go. Yet there is bravery too, I know, in being left behind. Tell of Lisbon rain, of Havana after dark, of waters blue as storybooks and skies alive with sparks. I listen with an honest ache, I let their marvels be, but I have seen enough in one true line of moon on sea. My mother sewed by kitchen lamps, my father mended nets, and all our modest weather-touched life still glows around me yet. The porch, the salt, the peeling paint, the tea tin on the shelf. A girl may stand in one small place and still become herself. Harbor light, home, don't let me doubt the worth of roots that hold throughout. The calm inside the storm without the patience of the shore. Harbor light, home, shine through the mist, through every dream I may have missed, and teach me how life can exist without demanding more. The sea is not less beautiful for being daily seen, nor is a gentle anchored life less noble for serene. There are adventures of the soul no timetable can chart, and some horizons lie concealed inside a faithful heart. So let the steamers take the boys, let postcards cross the foam. I'll walk the pier at eventide and bless the lights toward home. For there beneath the salt-worn star and all the circling birds, I hear the kind of truth that needs no trumpet and no words. Harbor light, home, last one awake, glow for the dreamers and the brave, for those who leave and those who stay, for every searching mind. Harbor light, home, small but true, I think the sea is grander too, for having one green point of view. still burning